Okay, about to change the traveller on a laser. A couple of things to think about. One might be to check over your traveller eyes, and you can either go for a plastic replacement or the new aluminium replacement. There's goods and bads for both. The plastic one doesn't wear rope out, and the aluminium one wears most of them out because it's got a tiny weld line around the inside of the metal one, which you might need to rub out before you put the new traveller on. Okay, so let's change the traveller, and we're going to look at, first of all, a simple Dynamo traveller, fairly inexpensive traveller for a laser. Dynamo because you don't want it to stretch, and the polyester outer core, the 8 braided outer core, makes it easy to cleat. Now, I've seen this done lots of times, maybe the wrong way. A lot of people like to tie themselves a big bowline in here and make a big triangle. Big triangles are very ineffective at tensioning the rope. So what you actually want to do is make a bowline first. And once you've made a bowline, you can then tension the traveller quite tightly, and then when the traveller is parallel sided like this, it's quite effective at tensioning the back one. Now, Dynamo traveller, like I say, it's not particularly slippery, it's not particularly low stretch, so you might find quite a few times that when the tension on the main sheet comes on, it will start to creep in and the traveller will stretch. And when you tension it up super tight, you might find that it becomes begins to become a slight break on the tiller. But it's a great club level traveller, especially if you're using kicker all the time. Right, and we're going to move on to the next version of traveller, which is what you'd consider if you were really super keen on a traveller with no stretch, and we call this our Vectron traveller. Now, it's not just solid Vectron, it's actually mixed with some polyester to make it easy to cleat. Again, we'll do a bowline, a normal bowline in the rope. And we'll tension it. Now, Vectron's a bit of an odd rope. It's incredibly strong, incredibly low stretch, but it doesn't tell you when it's about to break. And it's also not particularly super hard wearing. That's another reason why we put the polyester in it. But it's not particularly super hard wearing, so you will find if you have an aluminium fairly at the back, after a lot of use, you'll slowly wear through the Vectron. And the Vectron also is a little grippy on the tiller, but for a no stretch traveller, it's absolutely amazing. And you will find you won't get any creep or stretch in the traveller block at all. And so for those conditions when you've got waves in maybe 10 knots, you want max power, you don't have to use any kicker, you can keep the main sheet really tight and the blocks will stay on the corner and they won't creep in. That's been my favourite traveller for a long time, until we developed our latest version, the D20 traveller. The reason for the introduction of the D20 traveller was because he wanted to make the line slightly more slippery. So the DM20 traveller, like I say, we wanted to make it slightly more slippery than the Vectron traveller, and we wanted to make it equally low stretch. So we used the latest technology in Spectra design, that's the DM20 rope, and we mixed it with polyester again because we're always concerned about making it easy to cleat. DM20's got very low stretch, very low creep. It's equivalent to Vectron, but it has its own natural slippery allness that makes it cross the tiller nicely. So for the same amount of tension, a really good strong traveller, it has no stretch and is smooth on the tiller. So no matter how much tension you use, it just feels like you've got a roller there rather than just a plate. It's super smooth. The ultimate traveller for a laser.